She's up late with me tonight here on the Final Five. Laurie, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
On this anniversary, it seems as though, I mean, for decades now, the Middle East has been a powder keg for one reason or another, and we saw things in Qatar hit yet another fever pitch this week. And I'm curious, as you see all of this playing out right now, what is the state of play as the U.S. tries, what seems like in vain, to help broker some sort of solution here?
Well, the United States likes to be in the position under Donald Trump, especially in this administration, of being a mediator, not putting any boots on the ground, or certainly not committing any military or civilian U.S. men and women to go to any of these countries like there were with under two wars, under Bush and Obama, and then under Trump, and then Biden, dealt with the tail end of the Afghanistan withdrawal that was actually negotiated under a Trump presidency. But I would say that the Middle East now, as far as relationships and being an ally to the United States and the allies that the United States has made over the last 2 decades, and puts us in a much better position than we were on September 11th, 2001. That was a day that killed in one day nearly 3,000 people. And since then, between, I would say, 2013 to 2019, we have had a total of 1 to 10 plots per year. That's in that entire time span. And so I would say that right now, with what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk's political assassination, that I would say that there is more of a threat domestically here for domestic terrorism and extremism than there is from something coming from the Middle East or any of those terrorism proxy organizations.
Look back 24, 25 years ago, and certainly we had allies in the region, and alliances have shifted and faces have certainly changed. When we look at right now the Middle East, who are? I mean, is Israel still our closest ally there?
Israel is a close ally of the United States, but there are other allies that the United States just over the last 6 months have leaned incredibly hard on, and we continue to see that is with Qatar, of course, being this intermediary and negotiator for Hamas, between Hamas and Israel, and I would say also the United States, also being a broker with what was happening within Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. But I would say don't count out, if we're talking about the Middle East, we have to, of course, include Pakistan when we talk about this. Pakistan shares its eastern border with Iran, and it's very important that we keep Iran in check, and Pakistan can do that. The relationship between the United States and Pakistan, in my opinion, has not been as strong as it ever has been right now, especially with the tariffs that have been imposed upon India, another country in that region of the South that is getting hammered because it continues to support and buy fuel from Russia against that conflict that they started against Ukraine. So all of these geopolitical issues affect the United States economy, our security, but I believe that we do have allies in the region that can continue to not just share information, intelligence gathering, weaponry, etc., but become even stronger allies, not diminish that, and that of course would be Pakistan to deal with Iran.
And before we go, as mentioned at the top, this being the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, and certainly I think we've all been more vigilant in some way, shape, or form, regardless of where we live or regardless of where we are. I mean, what is your message to our audience as somebody who follows world affairs and who's seen it through Democratic administrations, now in a Republican administration? What should we keep in mind here as Americans as we watch all of this from afar?
I think that every single day, Americans should be filled with gratitude that we have a safe country, that we are free to walk around and continue to use our freedom of speech that was taken away from somebody yesterday for his use of freedom of speech, the fact that we have the right to bear arms, the fact that we are entitled to due process, that we have the right to vote, all of those things that make our democracy and the United States of America very unique and special. And that comes first and foremost with those that are willing to put on a uniform and serve this great country, and including civilian staff as well, which I was one of them. And so I think that's what Americans should be filled with, is gratitude that we remain one of the safest countries in the world. And that is for the efforts that we take, whether that's at the airport, whether that's the efforts that we're willing to take to go through some of these more scrupulous security checks here that other countries don't go through. That is to protect us, our neighbors, and those visitors that come here to the United States.
Laurie Watkins on the Final Five tonight. We appreciate you joining us.